6. Skipping ahead to problem number 10. Problem number 10, we're after a single variable, just the m, and one of our basic strategies is to identify the basic variable or variables, as the case might be, that we're looking for and the information that's given to us, and the premises that are given to us in the problem. So this makes 10 a little unique. We're after an m, but you'll notice by examining the 3 premises that we're given, an m doesn't appear anywhere in the problem at all. So that strategy seems to be a little bit different here in problem number 10. Anytime the variable that you're after doesn't appear in the problem, you know that you're going to have to do addition. You're going to have to add on that new variable to get it into the equation. So this is what we have to think about. When we do addition, the main operator becomes a wedge. We're going to add the m onto something, so for now I'll just leave that as a blank. Something wedge m. When we do that addition, again, the main operator here will be the wedge. And the only rule that we have to break apart a wedge is disjunctive syllogism. So when we do that addition, we're going to have to isolate the m, the second disjunct is what it will become via ds. So that means that we need the negation of whatever it is that we add the m onto. So that's my plan of attack, that's my reasoning before I really jump into the problem at all. I know, given that m doesn't appear anywhere in the setup, that I'm going to have to add it on. But once I've done that addition, then I'm going to have to get the m by itself. And given that, after I do addition, the main operator is going to be the wedge, the only way to do that will be via disjunctive syllogism. So those are some thoughts I've made to myself just here in the margins to keep my thinking straight. Now let's examine what we've got to work with, keeping in mind our 8 rules of inference. The obvious place to start here is to break up line number 3. Line number 3, the main logical operator, is of course the dot, and anytime that's the case, you can, if you need to, simplify. So this is a rather obvious and easy step to take. Simplify, get that first conjunct by itself, just the d. Now, why did we do that? What was the point? What was the point? Well, kind of similar to the previous problem, problem number 6, we can take line number 4 and via addition construct the antecedent to line number 1 by adding on that e. So for addition, and we've constructed the antecedent to 1, d or e, which is useful because it immediately sets up MP. 1 and 5 modus ponens, and we can now get g and h. The g seems to be useful because we can use it if we did first of all simplification. We can use that g to do modus ponens with line number 2. So the main operator in 6 obviously is the dot. Easy enough to deal with that. 6 simp, and we've got the g by itself, which immediately sets up 2 and 7 modus ponens, and we get the not d by itself. So let's return to our original plan of attack here. We knew that we had to do addition, but the real question that we were wrestling with here is what do we add the m onto? We realized in thinking our way through the problem that we needed to add it on to the variable of which we had its negation. That's now presently what we've got here in lines 4 and 8 respectively. And 4 we've got a d, and in line 8 we've got its negation, we've got not d. So it seems to be the case that we're now ready to do the addition. And I'll do that here in line number 9. For addition, adding on the m, and I chose to add it on to line number 4 because now with line number 8 at hand, I've set up immediately disjunctive syllogism. So 8 and 9 ds, and for line 10, finally, turns out to be a rather lengthy problem, we get the m by itself, and we're done. On now to problem number 17. 17, the conclusion that we're asked to derive, the main operator here once again is a dot. So as always, anytime this is the case, we can think of this as 2 separate objectives. Get the not e, get the a, and then we'll finish up with conjunction, jamming those 2 separate variables together. So let's examine the information that is given to us here in the setup of the problem. We were given 3 premises to work with. Premise 1 seems to be rather long and nasty, containing many different variables, parentheses, brackets. So we're probably going to have to break that down at some point. It might very well look intimidating to you, but let's just take it one step at a time, and trust me, the thing will unravel fairly nicely for us. Line number 2, premise number 2, also fairly complex. So a good place to start, it seems, is with number 3. Main operator in 3 is the dot, so as always, if we need to, we can simplify it, and that'll give us the m by itself. 3 simp, there's the first conjunct by itself, and that immediately proves to be useful because it set up 2 and 4 modus ponens. And we can get the consequent there, everything in brackets on the right side of the horseshoe in line number 2 by itself, A and P or R. So now in 5, the main operator is the dot, so once again we can simplify, this time getting the A by itself. 5 simp. And so we've broken up 3. We've gone a long way in breaking up line number 2, but we haven't yet touched number 1. The main operator in 1 is a horseshoe, and there are only a couple of options at our disposal here to break up horseshoes. We need a not E, and the only place that not E appears is at the tail end of line number 1 as a part of the consequent of line number 1. You'll notice here in line number 6 we've already got the A by itself, so really we just need that not E, which again is a part of the consequent of line number 1. And what rule allows us to get out the consequent of a horseshoe statement? Well, again, our very first rule of modus ponens. But to do modus ponens, you need to construct the antecedent to line number 1. We need A or, and then in parentheses, K and J, which we don't have. So the question seems to be, so we can get that not E by itself, the question seems to be, how can we construct the antecedent out of the parts that we do have? We want A or K and J, and we just have the A to work with. Easy enough. We can just simply add it on. Remember, in addition, seems as though you might be cheating, but you can add on anything you like, including something that's complex, which is exactly what we need to do here to construct the antecedent to 1. So it works like this. The justification 6th addition, we'll start with the A or whatever you like. In this case, we happen to like both K and J jammed together with that dot. So 6th addition allows us to create the antecedent to 1, which is the key to the entire problem, just out of A by itself. And we did that again to set up 1 and 7 modus ponens, and we get everything to the right of the horseshoe there. We get not E and not F. The main operator is the dot, so easy enough. We simplify A simp. There's the not E. We wanted not E and A. We'll just jam the 2 together via dot, and the rule that allows us to do that is conjunction. So 6 and 9 conjunction will finish off the problem for us. Not E and A. Remember conjunction, you can jam these 2 lines together in any order that you need them. It need not be the A first followed by the not E. We can jam them together in any order we like. Here we want the not E to come first rather than second, so that our line 10 looks exactly like the conclusion. And that's problem number 17.